Probably looks a little like this, which is pretty overwhelming, but it's a lot easier than it looks, especially with the type of gardening that you have. Obvious things is that you want to cut all this down using your sharp tools. Wherever it's too thick to cut down with your tools, then you're really just going to pull it out. And you just want to save it. It's actually pretty easy right now because we're bone dry here in Colorado. And then if you have irrigation, you want to just put this to the side also. Make it easier to get to everything. I mean, the lath can come apart, or you can take it out more gently than I just did, and it'll come out in one piece. And then, you know, if you have the plastic culture in the beds you use for climbing plants, you just want to take that and let it go. So, and another thing is, you know, after a year or 2 years or 3 years, I mean, these are a couple of years old, and look how in good shape they still are. Now, of course, I think I just did this because I pulled too hard. But if you're gentle, you know, this trellis netting can last a really long time without bringing it in through the season. You can also, at the end of the season, pull this off and bring it into the garage so that it'll last longer. You can tie these two pieces together. Otherwise, one little break like this is not going to make that much of a difference. Something like this, you could tie another piece of string on this and then tie it to the EMT. And how we have some beautiful critters living in the garden. That's how we know how great the soil already is before we even put compost in there. It's still nice and moist because it has the vermiculite and the peat moss in it. So the one thing we want to let you know is that even though it looks like there's less soil in here than there was when you started out, there really isn't, because it needs to be fluffed up. It's sort of compacted now because of the weather, because of the rain and anything else. Now, not only that, two parts of the 3-part ingredients of the soil is vermiculite and peat moss. So, and they work like a sponge. What happens when it's real dry and you're not watering because it's off season, it starts to dry up. And then as you water, you're going to water probably a few days at minimum before you want to start to plant, so that you can start to saturate those 2 parts. And then the 3rd part is going to be compost, which is already moist and fluffy.